If you want to become a better leader of tomorrow, please subscribe Raj Shamani Clips channel, because here we get you the most insightful clips on leadership. Tell me, what do you think Indian startups are doing wrong that is affecting them to not achieve the kind of profitability? Because there is consumption going in the country, there is money getting pumped in the country, there are all the right talent. So there's talent, there's capital, there's demand going on. Why are we not able to achieve the profit, or why are we not able to live up on the promises that the world sees for us, the promises that we see for ourselves?
I don't think startups are doing much wrong. I think it's just a cycle, like I said earlier, right? Generally startup economies go through with these cycles. We're in that early phase of the cycle where the startup economy is just getting created, right? And if you see and you can go back 20 years to the US markets and you'll see similar trends. Most of the companies today in the India space are B2C. There are very few B2B companies. And whatever B2B companies exist, in India, incorporated in India or with an office in India, they're serving outside. India consumption also for software or B2B stuff is minimal. Okay. So I think it's the first cycle of how I put it. I think the next phase is going to be some players from the first cycle come through. There's going to be more investment in B2C, which I think will require VC funding. There's no running away from that, because you will have to create that market over time. I think when the GDP grows and the economy grows, a lot of people who are not accessible to the startup community will be available now, like that skewed component of people. So out of 140 billion in terms of accessible numbers, people talk about numbers being super small, right? 10 crores or whatever is what is accessible today is what they say. So right, so if that number has to increase, right, and then only then you can even think about profitable CACs and your LTV going up and all of that, right? Today, I think what is happening is, to acquire that customer, there is so much money being thrown in, but then you're not able to reap the rewards over time in the B2C market, right? When the economy changes, per capita changes, all of that mindset will change. You said something about earlier you to think, if I want to pay $15-20 extra for a Zepto order, right? And now today you don't care. You want it there. I think that habit has to change in the larger scale of things, right? So I think that one will change. That's B2C. I have a very strong opinion on B2B, and I've seen this happening in the US. Is B2B, I think India, I personally feel, will go through two phases. There was this US-Israel model first, where startup model where US is your HQ, Israel is your R&D center. We, with Plivo, we are in the model of US-India model, right? Where US is our HQ and India is our R&D. I think the first phase of B2B companies will be that. There will be a lot more B2B companies that will come in with this model, US-India model, because US is the largest B2B sort of market, if you will, right? From where you can sell to today. Europe, I think, is the second, but US is the largest market. India market doesn't exist today. So I think there'll be a uptick on that market right now in terms of how companies will scale. And I think there'll be a second phase that will come in for B2B, where local consumption of B2B will increase. Because today, I think it's that build versus buy mentality. It's all about खुद ही कर लेंगे.
Exactly.
Right? खुद ही कर लेंगे, या मेरे को सॉफ्टवेयर की वैल्यू नहीं है, I want it at cheap cost. So I think that will also change at that mentality. Yeah, over time. So वो B2B में second phase आएगा, जहाँ पर that will change. And then when there's local consumption happening in B2B is where the real B2B change will happen. I feel. So that's a long journey. I think it will take time. I don't think there is any shortcuts. We have just picked our business model and markets to be such where we don't have to sort of be in this other space or race, and we are serving. You
don't have competitors? How many people are there?
Yeah, there's a lot of competitors. We're not the market leader. We have a lot of competitors, and our largest competitor is in the US. We have competitors in India also. In fact, when we started this out, right, the thought process was India में बेचना है नहीं बेचना, and we said 2011 I'm talking about. We said India नहीं focus करेंगे अभी, सिर्फ US पे करेंगे, and we picked the market and focused on that market. India हमने focus ही नहीं किया.
What's the revenue split between India and US?
India is I would say minuscule. US markets are almost 60% revenue. Right? India is minuscule. We have a local entity in India. We've gotten the regulations and regulatory approvals and all that. So we will now start focusing on India.
Because next 5 years.
Next 5-7 years, we're big on India as well, right? India is going to be a very large ecosystem for all of our stuff. And we are launching more solutions. So when that comes in, that'll, I think, create more excitement and
interesting.
Yeah, and revenue from there.
Thank you so much for watching this clip till the end. Please subscribe to Raj Shamani Clips channel to become a better leader for tomorrow.